Jayodaya, today we are joined by two distinguished guests, an officer from the Vedic Dharma Sansthan and an expert from the art of living. We'll be delving into one of the most poignant moments in the Ramayana, Sita's return to Ayodhya after being rescued from Lanka. Let's begin by understanding the significance of this event. Officers, could you provide insight into how Sita's return is viewed in the context of Vedic philosophy? Yes, Sita's return to Ayodhya is a powerful moment in the Ramayana, not only because of the defeat of Ravana, but also because it symbolizes the triumph of Dharma, righteousness, and over Adharma, the forces of evil. In Vedic tradition, Dharma is central to Sita's and life's journey, and Sita's purity and virtues were always unwavering. Despite the trials she faced in Lanka, her return represents the restoration of cosmic order and divine justice. She is seen as an embodiment of purity and strength. The acceptance of Sita back into Ayodhya by Lord Ram signifies the importance of upholding Dharma even in the face of personal challenges. That's an insightful perspective, officer. Now let's turn to the emotional and spiritual layers of Sita's return. Expert from the perspective of the art of living and spirituality, what does Sita's exile and return teach us about resilience and inner strength? Yes, Sita's exile and a return to Ayodhya after Ravana's defeat encapsulate deep spiritual teachings. In the art of living, we often talk about overcoming challenges with grace and equanimity. Sita's journey is a beautiful example of inner strength. She faced immense adversity, yet she never compromised on her values. Even in captivity, she remained focused on her dharma, and through her unwavering faith in Lord Ram, she was ultimately rescued. Her return symbolizes the triumph of inner strength, her ability to remain rooted in her higher purpose no matter the external circumstances. From a psychological standpoint, it teaches us resilience, the ability to not only endure but to rise above challenges with integrity. Yes, Sita's faith in Lord Ram was indeed unshakable, officer. There were also challenges to her reputation when she was brought back to Ayodhya. Could you shed light on how her chastity and honor were questioned and how this reflects the societal values of that time? Yes, this is an important aspect of the story. When Sita was brought back to Ayodhya, there were whispers questioning her purity after being held captive in Ravana's palace. This situation is symbolic of the societal values and the pressures of maintaining one's honor and reputation in ancient times. Lord Ram, despite being fully aware of Sita's chastity and devotion, had to make a difficult decision to uphold societal norms and dharma. The Agni Pariksha, or trial by fire, where Sita walked through fire to prove her purity, was not only a test of her personal strength, but also a demonstration of the complex intersection between personal values and public perception in that era. While the decision to subject Sita to the Agni Pariksha is often criticized for its harshness, it can also be seen as a moment of deep spiritual symbolism. It represents the ultimate test of faith, and her emerging unharmed from the fire confirmed her purity and the truth of her character. In Vedic thought, such trials are often seen as symbolic of overcoming life's inner struggles, where external judgment cannot diminish inner truth. Absolutely, Sita's purity and devotion were beyond question in her heart and soul. Expert in the context of the art of living, do you think this episode has any relevance for modern day relationships and pressures of societal judgment? Yes, very much so. In today's world, we face constant judgment from society and external forces, whether it's regarding our personal choices, our relationships, or career paths. Sita's story teaches us that external judgment is often a reflection of societal norms, but our true worth is defined by our inner purity and devotion to our values. The art of living emphasizes meditation and self awareness, helping individuals transcend the need for external validation. Just as Sita remained rooted in her inner truth, we too can find peace by aligning with our deeper self, irrespective of societal opinions. In relationships, too, the emphasis should be on mutual respect, trust, and an understanding of each other's inner strength rather than yielding to external pressures or societal expectations. That's a beautiful way to frame it. Sita's resilience is indeed has a timeless relevance. As we wrap up, officer, what can we learn from Sita's journey and her return to Ayodhya in the context of modern day spirituality and values? Yes, Sita's journey from exile to her return to Ayodhya encapsulates the eternal struggle between dharma and adharma, purity and corruption, strength and adversity. In today's context, it reminds us that no matter the trials we face, the path of righteousness, dharma, will ultimately lead us to peace and truth. Sita's steadfast devotion to her Lord, her patience, and her ability to endure hardship with grace are qualities that resonate deeply in the modern world. In types of personal or collective challenges, we can draw strength from her example of inner purity and devotion to the higher good. Thank you both for such insightful perspectives. Sita's return to Ayodhya after overcoming trials that challenged both the spirit and reputation offers a profound message of resilience, inner strength, and the triumph of good over evil. Her story continues to inspire and guide generations. Jai Gurudev. Jagodev, as we reflect on the spiritual and emotional aspects of Sita's return, one key theme that stands out is the concept of self realization and the journey toward understanding one's true self. Expert in modern spiritual practices, such as those advocated by the art of living, how does Sita's experience resonate with the concept of inner transformation? Yes, Sita's story is a powerful metaphor for self realization. Her journey from being abducted and held captive in Lanka to ultimately returning to Ayodhya represents a deep inner transformation. On a spiritual level, captivity can be seen as symbolic of the ego, the mental and emotional limitations that prevent us from realizing our higher self. In Sita's case, despite the external adversity, her inner self was never imprisoned. In the Art of Living teachings, we emphasize the power of meditation, self awareness, and surrendering to the divine. Sita's unwavering devotion to Lord Ram reflects this inner surrender, surrendering the ego and aligning oneself with a higher purpose. Her resilience, despite immense hardship, is an embodiment of the truth that our inner strength and purpose remain unshaken no matter the external circumstances. By cultivating self awareness and aligning with our spiritual values, we too can experience such transformation and inner freedom. That's beautifully put, officer. There is another aspect of Sita's return that is often discussed in the context of societal and family dynamics. After being rescued from Lanka, Sita returns to Ayodhya, but her journey is far from simple. The emotional challenges she faces are multifaceted, particularly when Lord Ram asks her to undergo the Agni Pariksha. What does this moment tell us about the dynamics of leadership, responsibility, and personal sacrifice? Yes, the Agni Pariksha is one of the most controversial yet profound moments in the Ramayana. It reflects a complex relationship between duty, leadership, and personal sacrifice. As the king, Lord Ram had to balance the personal with the political, the emotional with the societal. His decision to ask Sita to undergo the trial, despite knowing her purity, was driven by the duty to his kingdom and his people. As a ruler, he had to protect the sanctity of his image and his kingdom's dharma, as it was believed that the perception of a ruler directly affected the well being of the realm. From a leadership perspective, Ram's actions reveal the burdens of responsibility that come with power. He was not just a husband but also a king, and his decisions were deeply influenced by his commitment to ensuring the righteousness of his reign. However, this also brings forward the question of personal sacrifice. Both Sita and Ram sacrificed their personal happiness for the greater good of their kingdom and dharma. Ram's role as a leader was intertwined with his adherence to dharma, even when it meant causing suffering, pain to those closest to him. Yes, that's a powerful reflection on the burden of leadership. Expert, when we think about modern day leadership and relationships, the themes of sacrifice and responsibility continue to echo. How can we as individuals navigate these challenges without compromising our inner peace and values? Yes, in today's fast paced world, we often find ourselves balancing professional duties, personal relationships, and societal expectations. Just like Lord Ram and Sita were, we are sometimes required to make difficult choices. However, the key difference in modern day spiritual practice is learning to act from a space of inner peace and alignment with our core values. The art of living emphasizes the practice of meditation and mindfulness as tools to remain grounded. When we are connected to our higher self, we can make decisions without being overly influenced by external pressures or fear. The practice of yoga, meditation, and self reflection helps us navigate the complexities of responsibility and sacrifice, ensuring that we are in tune with our inner truth so our actions align with Dharma while maintaining our inner peace. By cultivating compassion and clarity, we can learn to make choices that honor both our responsibilities and our personal values without feeling overwhelmed or lost in the process. Sita's story teaches us that true strength comes from being unwavering in our principles, no matter the external challenges. In light of all this, officer, we see that Sita's return is not just a literal return to Ayodhya, but also a spiritual journey of acceptance and transformation. How do you think Sita's return can inspire us today, especially in terms of overcoming the personal and collective challenges we face as a society? Yes, Sita's return to Ayodhya after Ravana's defeat can be viewed as a metaphor for the collective return to Dharma, peace, and unity. In today's world, where we face social, political, and emotional challenges, Sita's resilience and ability to maintain her Dharma, despite the trials, provide profound lessons. The societal challenges that she faced in Ayodhya after her rescue mirror the struggles many people encounter today when trying to maintain their integrity in the face of judgment, doubt, and adversity. Sita's story teaches us to remain rooted in truth and virtue, to not be swayed by external pressures, and to uphold our values even when they are questioned. In this sense, her return is a symbol of a hope for those seeking spiritual renewal and justice in a world that often feels turbulent. As a society, we can draw inspiration from her story to remain committed to righteousness, to support one another in our collective journey toward truth, and to foster a sense of unity and compassion that transcends judgment. Thank you for both for these deeper insights. It seems that Sita's return is not just an event from the past, but a living narrative that contributes and continues to offer timeless wisdom. Her journey is a reminder of the importance of resilience, inner strength, and unwavering dedication to Dharma. These lessons can help us navigate the complexities of modern life with grace, humility, and wisdom. Jai Gurudev. Jai Gurudev, another powerful theme in Sita's return is the idea of justice and the way it intertwines with personal dignity. Officer, we have spoken about Sita's trials and the judgment she faced, particularly in the context of the Agni Pariksha. But what does justice truly mean in the Ramayana, especially in Sita's case? And how can we interpret her experience through the lens of divine justice and fairness? Yasita's returns and the trial she faced highlights an important facet of justice, divine justice. While human justice is often clouded by biases and societal pressures, divine justice is aligned with the greater cosmic order or dharma. From the moment Sita was kidnapped by Ravana, she was an innocent victim, yet she faced untold hardships. In her case, divine justice is not about the immediate restoration of comfort or relief, but about the ultimate triumph of righteousness over evil. In Vedic philosophy, divine justice is understood as a process that may involve suffering, but it leads to eventual restoration and balance in the universe. When Sita underwent the Agni Pariksha, it wasn't just a test of her physical purity, it was a manifestation of her cosmic truth, and it proved to the world her unwavering devotion and virtue. Divine justice ensures that good ultimately prevails, but not always in the ways we expect or on the timeline we hope for. Sita's trials represent the complex nature of justice. It's not about punishing wrongdoers in a straightforward manner, but about restoring balance and truth to in a larger spiritual context. In this sense, the Ramayana teaches that true justice is beyond human comprehension. It is governed by divine wisdom, which might seem harsh at times, but is ultimately restorative. That's a deep reflection on divine justice. Expert, the Ramayana is not just about the heroic journey of Lord Ram, but also the strength and spiritual wisdom of Sita. From a modern spiritual perspective, how can Sita's example help us navigate the injustices or hardships we encounter in our own lives? And how does spirituality help in dealing with suffering and judgment? Yes, Sita's journey is deeply spiritual, and it provides an extraordinary framework for understanding how to endure suffering with grace and transform it into an opportunity for growth. In today's world, we often face judgment or injustice, whether at the societal level, within our families, or in our professional lives. Spirituality, as taught in the Art of Living, emphasizes that suffering, though painful, can be a powerful tool for inner transformation. Sita teaches us that suffering need not diminish our inner peace. Her ability to endure trials without losing her essence, her dignity, or her faith in Lord Ram is a profound spiritual lesson. In modern spirituality, we focus on developing resilience through practices such as mindfulness, meditation, and self reflection. These practices help us detach from the emotional charge of injustice and see things from a broader perspective. When we face hardships or unfair treatment, we can practice surrender, not in a passive way, but with the strength to accept what is happening, understand its deeper purpose, and rise above it with compassion. Furthermore, Sita's ability to remain anchored in her devotion to Ram, despite everything she went through, reflects a spiritual truth. The only true refuge we have in life is our connection to the divine or the higher self. When we strengthen that connection through spiritual practice, we gain the capacity to endure any external circumstance with peace and dignity. Sita's unwavering faith in Lord Ram is symbolic of the deep spiritual trust that helps us navigate life's challenges. There is such depth in Sita's endurance and devotion. Officer, one theme that stands out in this entire saga is Sita's unwavering loyalty to Lord Ram. Even when she is in a foreign land facing the threat of Ravana, her devotion is seen as supreme. What can we learn from her about the nature of loyalty, not just to others, but to one's own path and values? Yes, loyalty in the context of Sita's story is not just about fidelity to Lord Ram, it's about also about loyalty to one's own principles, dharma, and divine calling. Sita's commitment to Ram, even during the most testing times, illustrates the idea of satya, truth, and dharma or righteousness. Her unwavering faith was not based on blind obedience, but on an inner conviction and understanding of the larger divine plan. This loyalty to truth and righteousness, especially in a world where external circumstances often challenge us, is a lesson we can all apply in our lives. She didn't just remain loyal to Ram out of love, her loyalty was also on to the path of dharma that she knew was righteous regardless of her physical separation from him. This reflects a spiritual lesson that true loyalty is rooted in the inner principles of truth, not dependent on external validation or circumstances. In today's world, where we are often torn between conflicting desires and external pressures, Sita's example of devotion reminds us to stay loyal to our higher selves, our true values, and our purpose in life, whether in relationships, work, or personal growth. Loyalty to our spiritual principles and to the higher good can guide us through difficult times. It's powerful how Sita's loyalty reflects such profound spiritual truth. Expert building on that idea, there is a psychological aspect to loyalty too. In modern day therapy and psychological teachings, loyalty to oneself is often emphasized. How does this concept of self loyalty relate to Sita's story, especially when she faces criticism and challenges from others? Psychologically, loyalty to oneself is a key aspect of mental and emotional health. When we are loyal to our true self, our values, and our deeper purpose, we create a strong foundation for personal peace and well being. Sita's story is an archetype of this kind of self loyalty, despite the external world questioning her and even her husband having to make difficult decisions based on external perceptions. Sita never wavered from her internal truth. Her inner self remained intact because she was deeply connected to her purpose and her dharma. In modern psychological practice, we talk a lot about authentic self expression and the importance of staying true to one's core values. This often involves making difficult decisions or standing alone in the face of external judgment. Sita's ability to endure and remain true to her higher purpose, even in a hostile environment, teaches us that self loyalty is an internal process not determined by others' perceptions. In therapy, we encourage individuals to identify and align with their authentic selves. When we operate from a place of inner truth, as Sita did, we can make choices that are not reactive to the judgment or expectations of others. We are rooted in our own higher consciousness, which gives us the resilience to handle life's challenges with grace and dignity. Indeed, Sita's story offers a profound lesson in self loyalty and resilience, and her journey transcends time. Officer, as we conclude, what lasting message do you think Sita's return has for humanity, especially in a modern, often divided world? Yes, Sita's return symbolizes the ultimate restoration of harmony and order. In today's world, where there is often division, conflict, and confusion, Sita's story calls for a return to our inner truths, our principles of righteousness, and our connection to the divine. It teaches us that no matter how turbulent the external world may be, the path of dharma, purity, and truth will lead to peace and unity. Sita's unwavering devotion and resilience in the face of overwhelming adversity remind us that true strength comes from within. Our story teaches us to honor our values, to rise above judgment, and to maintain our connection to something greater than ourselves, whether that's through spirituality, compassion, or service. The return of Sita to Ayodhya is ultimately a celebration of the triumph of truth and justice, of the restoration of balance, and a call for us all to return to our highest levels. Jai Gurudev. Yes, another theme that emerges prominently in Sita's return is the role of divine intervention. Throughout her trials, there are moments where divine forces help her, such as Hanuman's visit to her in Lanka or the eventual triumph of Lord Ram over Ravana. Officer, can you speak to how divine intervention is portrayed in the Ramayana and its relevance to modern spiritual beliefs? Yes, divine intervention in the Ramayana is central to the Sita's stories unfolding. Sita's rescue is not just the result of human action but also of divine will. Hanuman's journey to Lanka to reassure Sita, the pivotal moments when Lord Ram invokes divine powers to defeat Ravana, and the ultimate rescue all underscore the importance of the divine in guiding and protecting those who remain true to their dharma. In Vedic philosophy, divine intervention is seen as a guiding force that helps individuals navigate life's challenges when they are aligned with their higher purpose. It's not always immediate or direct, but it's always present. The concept of divine will or Ishvara's will in Vedic text teaches us that when we surrender to the divine, we are not just passively waiting for salvation, rather, we are actively contributing to the world with the understanding that the divine works through us in mysterious ways to guide us toward our ultimate goal, spiritual liberation. In today's world, many modern spiritual practices, including those taught by the Art of Living, emphasize the idea that when we live with a sense of higher purpose, divine guidance comes in unexpected forms. This could be through the kindness of others, the wisdom found in challenging situations, or moments of intuition that seem to come from beyond. Divine intervention in a modern sense is not always about miraculous events, but about trusting the process and recognizing that there is a larger plan at work. That's an excellent point. So, divine intervention isn't just about miracles, it's about recognizing a larger order in life. Expert. So, how do you see Sita's story as a reflection of the universal law of karma and its relationship with spiritual evolution? Yes, Sita's journey beautifully encapsulates the law of karma, which suggests that our actions create ripples in the universe, shaping not only our present but also our future experiences. In the Art of Living teachings, we often speak about karma as not just as an individualistic concept, but a universal law that affects all beings. Sita's life is a demonstration of the law of karma at work, both the consequences of actions and the grace that helps to redeem and restore balance. Sita's exile, the abduction by Ravana, and the trials she underwent were karmic results of past actions, but they also set the stage for spiritual evolution. While she faced intense hardships, Sita's actions, her unwavering devotion, her adherence to dharma, and her steadfast faith reflects a good karma, and these actions ultimately lead to her redemption and reunion with Lord Ram. This teaches us that while we may encounter karmic challenges, difficult situations, that seem unfair or unearned. It is our responses to these situations, our alignment with Dharma, and our faith in the divine that determine the quality of our spiritual evolution. In modern spirituality, we are encouraged to understand that while we cannot always control our past karmas, we can always choose our responses to them. Like Sita, we may face adversity, but how we respond through patience, grace, and alignment with our higher purpose shapes our future and contributes to our spiritual evolution. That's very true. Sita's story is deeply connected to karma, and her ability to stay grounded and devoted is a key to her spiritual journey. Officer, as we look at Sita's ultimate return to Ayodhya, we cannot ignore the broader cultural and societal impact. Her return is not just a personal victory, but a symbolic one for the entire kingdom of Ayodhya. How can we understand this in the context of a collective healing and transformation in society? Yes, Sita's return to Ayodhya is indeed a symbolic moment for the collective well being of the kingdom. It represents the restoration of order, peace, and righteousness in the kingdom. When Sita returns, the people of Ayodhya, including Lord Ram, are restored to their rightful positions and the kingdom is able to flourish. This idea of collective healing is integral to the Ramayana. In Vedic tradition, the health and well being of a kingdom are directly linked to the moral and spiritual integrity of its rulers. Ram's dharma as a king was to protect his people and ensure that justice, truth, and harmony prevailed. Sita's return signifies not only the personal healing of Lord Ram and Sita, but also the collective restoration of harmony in the kingdom. In this sense, the story serves as a metaphor for how the health of a society is influenced by the integrity of its individuals and leaders. In modern society, we often talk about healing at the collective level, whether it's through reconciliation, social justice, or the restoration of peace. Just as Sita's return brought harmony and prosperity back to Ayodhya, our personal and collective actions today can lead to the healing of our communities. By adhering to principles of justice, compassion, and dharma, we contribute to the collective well being of society. Sita's story encourages us to consider the larger impact of our actions and the ripple effect they have on the collective good. That's a powerful insight. It's true that individual healing contributes to collective transformation. Expert, in the context of spiritual modern practices, many people struggle with the feelings of isolation or separation from their spiritual communities. How does Sita's story speak to the importance of community both in the spiritual and social sense? Yes, Sita's story underscored the importance of community and support networks in her spiritual and emotional journeys. While Sita was physically separated from her community in Lanka, she remained connected to her spiritual purpose and her devotion to Lord Ram. In the Art of Living philosophy, we emphasize the significance of satsang, the company of like minded people who support and uplift each other on their spiritual path. Even though Sita was isolated, she maintained a spiritual connection, and it was the support of Hanuman, her allies, and ultimately Lord Ram that helped her through her trials. In the modern world, the importance of community cannot be overstated in times of difficulty. It is often our relationships with others, a spiritual community, that provide us with the strength and guidance to persevere. While Sita faced extreme challenges alone, she was never spiritually disconnected. Her strength came from her unwavering devotion, but also from knowing that the divine had her back. Similarly, we can draw strength from our communities, whether in the form of family, friends, or spiritual networks, as they help us navigate life's uncertainties. In times of crisis, a community rooted in shared values can help us realign with our spiritual purpose, just as Sita's return to Lord Ram in Ayodhya was a return to her greater community. The sense of belonging and support we receive from a spiritual or social community is vital for our well being and progress. That's what a meaningful perspective. It is clear that Sita's journey, while intensely personal, also highlights the power of interconnectedness and the importance of maintaining our spiritual practices and support system. As we conclude, Officer, what do you think is the most important lesson we can take from Sita's return to Ayodhya, especially in terms of balancing personal growth with our responsibilities to others? The most important lesson from Sita's return is the balance between personal integrity and her duty to others. Sita remained true to her dharma, and this allowed her to rise above personal suffering for the greater good. Her return signifies not just personal redemption, but the restoration of cosmic order. In today's world, this teaches us that true growth comes when we align our personal goals with the welfare of others. Personal growth should never be isolated from our responsibility to the collective. Sita's story teaches us that in our own lives, no matter the challenges or judgments we face, if we remain committed to our higher purpose, we can contribute to the greater good, whether in family, community, or society. Our personal growth must be aligned with our duty to support and uplift those around us. This harmony between individual growth and collective responsibility is the key to true spiritual success and social well being. In this continuation, we explore how Sita's journey offers lessons on divine intervention, karma, and collective healing, and the importance of community. Her return to Ayodhya is seen not just as a personal triumph, but as a model for how we can navigate the complexities of our relationships, responsibilities, and spiritual evolution in today's world. Jai Gurudev. Jayadeva Sita's character is often associated with qualities of compassion, patience, and sacrifice. Officer in the context of leadership. How can we understand Sita's role as a leader while she is not portrayed as a traditional ruler or warrior in the Ramayana? Her influence is profound. What lessons can modern leaders learn from her example? Sita, though not a ruler in the conventional sense, embodies the essence of true leadership through her unwavering strength, grace, and commitment to Dharma. Leadership is not just about making decisions or holding power, it's also about leading by example. Sita's leadership come from her capacity to endure hardships with the patience and to stay true to her values no matter the external challenges. In the modern world, leadership is often defined by assertiveness, control, and strategic power. However, Sita teaches us a different form of leadership, one that is rooted in inner strength and resilience. Her leadership is an embodiment of the principle of Dharma, leading in alignment with the higher ethical principles without seeking validation or recognition. Her example shows that true leadership does not need to assert itself through dominance. It asserts itself through quiet confidence, unwavering integrity, and compassion. Sita's leadership is subtle but incredibly powerful. She shapes the kingdom of Ayodhya not by ruling it with authority, but by influencing those around her through her virtues, showing that a leader's character is the most powerful form of influence. Modern leaders can take inspiration from her ability to balance compassion with strength. Sita's response to adversity was not one of retaliation or defeat, but one of steadfast resolve, which is something every leader can reflect on when navigating tough situations in life and work. That's a powerful interpretation, expert, considering Sita's trials and sacrifices. There is a distinct theme of resilience as she faced enormous personal loss and challenges, yet her dignity remained intact. In modern psychology, we often discuss post traumatic growth where individuals emerge from adversity stronger and more purposeful. How does Sita's experience align with this concept? Yes, Sita's journey is a profound example of resilience, and modern psychological concepts like post traumatic growth (PTG) align beautifully with her story. PTG is the idea that people can experience significant personal development after enduring extreme hardship or trauma. It's not that the trauma itself is a positive experience, but Through facing adversity, individuals can gain deeper insights into themselves, develop a new sense of purpose, and grow spiritually or emotionally stronger. In Sita's case, each trial she faced, the abduction, her time in captivity, and her exile was undoubtedly traumatic, yet she emerged from these experiences as a more powerful and spiritually enlightened individual. Her unwavering connection to Lord Ram and her devotion to Dharma allowed her to maintain her dignity and inner peace even when faced with profound challenges. Psychologically, Sita's ability to maintain her spiritual focus and her integrity in the face of suffering is an incredible example of resilience. Her strength was not just in surviving the trauma, but in using it as an opportunity to strengthen her sense of self and purpose. In modern life, many individuals go through difficult times, be it personal loss, failure, or trauma, can draw inspiration from Sita's ability to transcend her suffering and emerge with grace, wisdom, and using an inner peace. This is the essence of post traumatic growth, finding meaning in suffering and using it as a fuel to spiritual and personal evolution. Moreover, her experience teaches us that resilience isn't always about returning to normal. It can mean transforming our identity and perspective, as Sita did, into something that integrates both the pain and the wisdom gained from the experience. That's a powerful reflection. Sita says resilience in the face of suffering is indeed a timeless lesson. Officer, considering her journey, there is also a deep connection between Sita and the feminine aspect of divinity in Hinduism. How can we understand her role as a symbol of Shakti, the divine feminine, and what can modern society learn from this? Yes, Sita, as a symbol of Shakti, represents a divine feminine energy, grace, compassion, strength, and wisdom. In Hinduism, Shakti is the creative power that sustains the universe, and Sita embodies this force through her unyielding devotion and her capacity to bear immense suffering without losing her purity. In the context of modern society, the role of the feminine has often been misunderstood, confined to the stereotypical traits like passivity or emotional dependence. However, Sita's story shows that the feminine energy is not only nurturing and compassionate, but it also holds incredible power, resilience, and autonomy. She was not just a passive figure waiting to be rescued, she took active steps to preserve her integrity, to protect her honor, and to support the larger divine plan. Modern society often undervalues the power of divine energy. We tend to celebrate assertiveness and the external power over the moral internal, subtle strength that is associated with feminine leadership. Sita's example reminds us that Shakti is not only about external power, it's also about the inner strength to remain steadfast in one's values, to persevere through challenges, and to create transformative change in subtle yet profound ways. Furthermore, Sita's role also highlights the importance of nurturing relationships that are based on mutual respect and understanding, something that is essential in today's world. A relationship with Lord Ram was based on love, trust, and support, which provides a model for all types of relationships, personal, professional, and spiritual. That's a beautiful way to look at it. Sita as the embodiment of both the strength and compassion. Expert in light of Sita's role as a spiritual and moral leader, how can her story inspire us in our relationships? She maintained unwavering devotion to Ram, yet her story also involves moments of profound sacrifice. How can we balance devotion and personal boundaries in relationships today? Yes, Sita's story offers deep personal wisdom for modern relationships, particularly in balancing devotion with personal boundaries. In today's world, we often see devotion in relationships as a form of self sacrifice, sometimes to the detriment of one's personal needs. Sita's devotion to Lord Ram is profound, but it doesn't mean she compromised her dignity or personal boundaries. In fact, her actions throughout the Ramayana demonstrate that true devotion requires maintaining one's inner strength and self respect even while being deeply committed to another. In relationships, the balance between devotion and personal boundaries is essential. Devotion doesn't mean losing oneself, it means expressing love and respect in a way that honors both partners' dignity. Sita, despite her immense love and loyalty to Lord Ram, never gave up her sense of self, even when she was tested by Ravana or by the people of Ayodhya. Her sense of personal integrity and boundaries remained intact. Today, we can learn from Sita that in healthy relationships, both individuals must honor each other's boundaries while remaining committed to supporting and uplifting each other. This principle applies not only to romantic relationships but also to family, friendships, and even work dynamics. Devotion is not about losing oneself but about mutually respecting each other's autonomy, desires, and space while remaining supportive and loving. Yes, Sita's story shows us that true love involves a balance of self respect, strength, and devotion where both partners can grow together while remaining true to their individual paths. This is an essential lesson in cultivating healthy, fulfilling relationships today. That's a very insightful takeaway, especially in the context of healthy relationship officer. As we draw this conversation to a close, could you share your thoughts on how Sita's return can guide us in today's fast paced, often turbulent world? Yes, Sita's return to Ayodhya is not just a personal reunion, it's a cosmic restoration of balance, justice, and dharma in today's fast paced world. We are constantly bombarded by distractions, struggles, and divisions. The story of Sita's return reminds us of the importance of staying true to our values, remaining steadfast in our purpose, and trusting in the greater divine order in a world that often feels chaotic. Sita's example teaches us to cultivate patience, compassion, and resilience. Her return also signals that no matter how difficult the journey may be, there is a return to peace, justice, and balance through unwavering commitment to Dharma. We may not always understand the reasons for our struggles or the seemingly unjust situations we face, but if we hold on to our integrity, seek the guidance of the divine, and support one another, we can navigate life's challenges with dignity and grace. Ultimately, Sita's story offers hope that truth, justice, and compassion will ultimately prevail in today's world. We need this hope more than ever. We need to trust that even though the path may seem uncertain, if we stay true to ourselves, divine grace will guide us back to our rightful place in the world. Jai Gurudev.